Phil Knight didn't achieve freedom by breaking the rules. He built a $180 billion empire by creating better ones. Well, most entrepreneurs resist the systems and structures, thinking they limit creativity. The world's most innovative companies are built on rigid frameworks that actually accelerate growth. What Tesla are you sacrificing in the name of flexibility? Businesses without structures and systems waste an average of 30% of their revenue on inefficiencies. That's not freedom. That's an expensive chaos that keeps you chained to your desk when your competitors stale systematically. In many ways, we as entrepreneurs and business owners want to have the freedom that this lifestyle provides. But there is a dichotomy between the creation of freedom and the ability to run a business in a systematic format. The greater you create systems for your company, the more freedom that you have. And you can see this in every day. One of the best examples I know of that is a company I work with. They came in and they were doing really well, but everyone had their own little silo of information and they knew it really well. No one else knew about it. And therefore, when someone got sick, or as we say, if someone won the lottery and left, large sections, silos of the company would disappear. Now, this company had great culture and great understanding, but they stopped and they did not cross-train and help people understand the systems. As soon as we were able to get systems in place, they had achieved a 40% increase in productivity. Why? Because people weren't remembering what needed to be done. They were actually going to a document that said, here's how it's done. And they were able to train people faster, which meant that they could grow at an exponential pace. You didn't have to sit down and have one person taught by everyone. They actually set up the system by which the person who was the subject matter expert wrote out how they would do it, and another person would try and do it and figure out all the questions that they had. If every person that they trained up from there, we made them actually rewrite the systems so that you knew exactly what was going on. Imagine the power here of creating an ability that is not only self-creating, but self-healing and self-changing, especially in the social media world, where the button seems to move every couple of weeks. Where if you bring someone else up in training, their first job is to understand it and then rewrite the training. And the advantage there is that's always refreshing. One of the biggest challenges with systems is if you're not on it 100% of the time, you're already missing the boat. You've missed something, you've missed where you're going. But creating a system which is on a regular basis checked by the people who are doing it, as well as the people who are learning how to do it, not only allows you more resilience in this, if someone has to leave for a while, there's not a large part of the business missing, but also it's continually refreshed, which is always the challenge. There's lots of companies that are willing to create processes for their process docs. And there's whole companies and ISO systems that are set up to do that. But the challenge is to always keep them updated and checked. That's a huge endeavor. It's a big push to get it done, but then to continue to keep it up is hard. So as an individual, creating a system, creating a process, knowing where that document is, having syntaxes for each one of these is a powerful way of systematizing your company and making your freedom greater. Now, there's going to be tremendous resistance if you haven't done it in the past. But what that allows you to do is have a system where you know it's in place and you can find where the fault is if it fails. It starts with you, and you need to create this systematic system whereby you start and you generate each one of the ideas. Now, for me, this was the hardest thing for me to do. I really like just being able to go off and do something and we get it going and then hand it off. But instead, what I've done is, and I learned this from Strategic Coach, is to create a document that explains what the project is, what it will do, how it will work, who will be working on it, so everyone has a clear understanding of what is going on. And then there's about 6 or 7 documents that we created over a period of time. And each one of those is long and hard, but it fills out and it becomes much easier. So the point where it used to take us months or half a year to stand up an entire launch sequence, and that could be hundreds of thousands of people and millions of dollars, where we were able to now stand it up in less than 60 days. So we cut our time to development in a quarter or a third almost immediately, just from the process and systems we had. How many times have you gone to get something and you can't find where it is and you spend 10 or 20 minutes looking for it? Not only does that stop the way you think, but it also slows down the entire process. So you're spending 10 or 20 minutes looking for something and you've got to get your head back into the mental process of doing it. Instead, if you had a process where those sort of assets just sit there and are waiting for you, you can grab them as you go and you continue the momentum, opposed to stopping and trying to figure out how it worked. And this is a system that has to be put in place over a period of time, because you need to start identifying the issues that you're having and then working out where did you capture them in the past, so that next time that you go and do it in the future, you know where that is. If you create this system, if you suffer through creating each of the minutiae, and I know most of you don't like that minutiae, and in many ways you can hire someone to help you, but in some ways you need to always be dealing with that minutiae as well, because that is the thing that's going to change everything. Most of the time, you're fighting to get something done, and then all of a sudden you realize that you're recreating the wheel or recreating something. Now, what I find very useful is to have someone who also is filing it behind me. So if I'm creating the things, there's also a filing system that someone else makes sense with. And this doesn't have to be a massively expensive tool. This can be something just as simple as a Google Doc. One of the reasons I like Google Docs is because everyone can share in on it and you can do screenshots. It is universally acceptable. Everyone can get a hold of it. There are some amazing tools that allow you to do steps and images and video and things like that. But begin with something as simple as a Google Doc and as simple as a number of questions. Every one of these podcasts, I start out with a template that asks a number of questions and tells me exactly where I should be in that framework. Creating those systems and understanding and perfecting those systems over time gives you the freedom for creativity, as well as the freedom to do the things that you would do best. Because if you're doing the things that you're not good at, you're not only not utilizing your time but you're also wasting time on the things that you could actually be doing to produce money or produce value for the company. So start creating those systems. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to think about the thing that initiates a project, the thing that you do to initiate. How are you doing that, and how can you make that a better communications tool? B, what I'd like you to do is then sit down and come up with the things that are your biggest frustrations. What are the stumbling blocks that you stumble over and over again? And figure out what systems you could place to reduce that ability. Maybe that's a filing system for assets that you have. Maybe that's a communications tool so that you don't have to go looking for numbers and things. Maybe that's a creation of a time block system so that you can actually focus on things. And thirdly, you need to share this idea. You need to share this idea with the rest of the team so that they understand how important this is. You need to share them so that they can interact with you, support you, and hold you accountable. If you do those three things over a period of time, 6 to 8 months, the business will change quite a bit. And it will change for the better and will continue to evolve. Also, when it does, it gives every one of your teammates the ability to really interact and the ability to feel like their voice is heard and they've been seen, so that all of this material starts to expand into a much more cohesive, understandable way of creating anything that you're doing. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to offer up in the comments below, one of the things is the greatest frustration for you. Maybe it's finding the pencils on the desk. Tell me what one of the frustrations is for you, because I want you to see that it's not unusual and lots of people do it. Let's start that conversation, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode on the Strategy Session, where we take your business from stuck to unstoppable. Here's another video I think you'd enjoy. If you found these insights valuable, remember to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell for notifications on our latest videos. Want to transform your business with expert strategies? Schedule your strategy session today by clicking the link in the description below. Remember, you're not just marketing, you're making history with Venture Gained. See you in the next video.